Hi. So I watched Cadaver on a whim, really. I was just scrolling on Netflix and I happened to pass by it and I was like, this looks kind of interesting to watch, and so I did.
To it knowing nothing, just like the basic summary. And the first thing that jumped off, that I was like, whoa, was the juxtaposition of the colors. The beginning, it has red and with the kids, and they're like super happy and they're playing, and then you see that they're picking clothes, and then the clothes basically look like, from the dead, or, the blood on the clothes. It's very obvious that they're from dead people. And it's just like this, not reflection, but like juxtaposition between innocence and death, basically. And then you compare that to the blue-gray tone colors that are used in their everyday life. The main protagonist, and it's muted, and it's basically representing the soulless and the desolate lives that they are inhabiting, and the death that is permeating every corner. The town is gray and in dark, while the estate is full of lights and white, and it's very different. When the presenter, Matias, which it has a cool tone and it's overexposed and half of his face is hidden, basically telling us that this man isn't really who he's saying he is. And it's talking about the play, and then they show Leonora as well, and then when they show her, they show a warm tone and they show her smiling, like completely two different sides of the story. And it's basically a mom. At the end of the day, the story is a mom just wanting her daughter to smile and keeping her imagination alive during this troubling time. And her husband as well tries to remember the good time, but he does lose hope more than Leonora. He's more of a realist. Like, his wife still has, she still wants to keep her child to have a normal life, a normal 10-year-old life, but he's a bit more realist with the situation when everything is going on. We're shown that Leonora has nightmares of losing Alice, probably because Alice represents this light and warmth in her life. She's almost untouched to what is actually happening, even though she probably does know, not to that extent. She does have nightmares, of course, and she does see death when they go outside. And in every door in this estate, they go with the premise of it's a play and every door has a different story, and you go and you can follow people. And so they give a warning, or like a reminder, that everyone with the masks are normal people and people without masks are actors. And at this moment, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like, what's happening? Like, something just feels weird. Like, they show it in a way that you're already like, ugh, not, something's wrong, something's gonna happen. And then apart from that, they show pictures of a lamb and a sheep and a lamb's head on a plate. Like, they're basically telling you something's happening, something's gonna go wrong, and things aren't what they seem. Another guy even asks if they're actors when they take off their masks when they're looking for their daughter, because Elise disappears. And he leaves when he believes that they're actors. He doesn't trust them because they don't have masks. He even asks them, "Do you have a mask?" And they're like, "We left them." And he just doesn't give them any more answers. Like, he doesn't trust them. And there's very predominant use of the color red during this whole entire movie, everywhere, especially in the estate. Um, and I knew right off the bat when they showed all that meat, I was like, that meat isn't human. Like, you're telling me that these people barely have food, and this man has some way been able to pump out a bunch of meat for like 30 people. No, this is definitely human meat. um I did have a curious like question, is when Jacob gets abducted in a way, and he's basically indoctrinated or recruited into this little scenario going on, this little, you know, Ponzi scheme or whatever. Does he actually, when he sees Eleonora, strung up like a pig, does he actually change his mind? Like, did he think that he could change her mind and make her join this estate and do this because, obviously she used to be an actress. So did he honestly believe their shtick? Or was he just playing like a con to, try to rescue her? Because you see that he's trying to convince her, and then when he sees that she's very adamant about not, that they still have hope, that they could still get out of this, he immediately, is like, and then changes. So I'm wondering if he honestly did believe that they could just live there and eat human meat, you know? I don't really know that part. I think he did lose hope. I think he did lose hope, and I think he thought that he could convince Lenora. But Lenora, she has this resilience and this belief that is very, you could say hard headed or stubborn, and I don't think she was going to condone eating other people because at this point she knew. Um, and I thought at the beginning, I thought, oh my god, the actors and everyone must know. But no, when she overhears one of the butchers basically tell her actors are not allowed into the walkways or the what is that called? Like the underground thing. I'm like, oh, so they don't know. Like they had no idea. I don't know how they didn't know. Like I don't know how no one asked where this meat was coming from. They just assumed that they were stealing from the poor and like selling their stuff. But like this is a nuclear apocalypse, like who is buying these things? Like I don't know, I think people just kind of be wanted to be willfully ignorant. um so here's my question, apart from the other question, this is like my main question: the ending. I don't know if I completely understood it. I don't know if I completely comprehended the interpretation, because when Lenora, like everything goes to shambles, Lenora has lost her husband. The Matthias, he's dead, and everyone knows that that's not a good place. And I guess I don't know why no one moves into there. Well, I don't know why the people don't decide to move in. Maybe it's because they don't trust other people. I don't know, but they decide, I guess, to probably abandon the estate. I honestly don't know, but when you see Lenora and Alice leave, the estate is full of bright lights, everything is white, and then when they're walking back to where they used to live, there's dead bodies, like the same dead bodies that were there at the beginning are there, and this time they're there without their husband slash father, and they return, and the hotel is in the background with like the sun shining on it, and they're back at this gray tone, death lingering at every corner. It's like a very blatant comparison, but I don't understand what was the meaning to it. Like what was I supposed to get? Like obviously, is it I don't know, what something just isn't clicking. I don't understand the final interpretation of what I'm supposed to be seeing. Obviously, even though Leonora and Alice are very hopeful and have this more warm, or at least a hopeful aspect or viewpoint compared to, Leonora's husband, but even if they did have this, they still ended up back where they were in this place that has death in every corner. And I don't know. I think the movie did very well at showing the juxtapositions with the colors, and kind of this, with the lighting showing us that things weren't actually right, and kind of playing with what is real, what is not, which I always love those. And Lenora kind of maybe hinting, obviously she was hallucinating, so it was kind of like hinting like, oh, is she actually seeing this? Is she just going insane? Like what's happening? And so I really enjoyed that. But like I said, just the ending, I didn't really understand that point. So if you're watching this video, and if you if you could tell me your interpretation or what you thought that comparison meant, because personally, I don't really get it. I don't really see what it was. But other than that, I thought, sorry, it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. There are some aspects that obviously are kind of predictable, like them eating human meat, because it's a trope that has been in various movies, and it's kind of like the logical step when you're in a nuclear apocalypse with no food. People are going to end up eating other people, especially when circumstances like this. It was like, okay, why are there like so many people living in this estate? Like people could, certain things you can just deduce. But I like where it kind of makes you think: is this real? Is this not real? Is she seeing things? Is she not seeing this? Who is like a good person? Who isn't? You know, um, and kind of like the moral ambiguity, because these characters thought, oh, we're just stealing from them, we're just stealing their clothes, or they're stealing their, you know, jewelry or whatever they thought these people had, but obviously eating them is way worse. But there is that moral ambiguity. But anyways, yeah, I did enjoy this movie. I do recommend it, but I really hope that anyone who watches this could tell me what their final interpretation to the last scene, because it made it seem that maybe she should have just chosen, living willfully ignorant and living in that state, doing her job as an actress while her child is safe and has food, even though, yes, that food is human. But I don't know. I don't know. So, anyways, I kind of just wanted to leave it at that. So, if you did answer, thank you so much. And if you want to just give me your opinions on this movie, I would also love that, because, that's kind of cool. So, yeah. Bye.